Well, hi, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me in my shop here. Today is June 16th. No question my microphone's working, so hopefully this recording is going well, because yesterday's, for some reason, my first 4 video segments had no audio on them. I have no idea why. Secondly, let me apologize for starting a story in my last video, which I'm going to complete right now, a story of me rushing off to the hospital because of some stroke-like symptoms I was having. Let me tell you, no, I did not have a stroke. In fact, there's nothing wrong with me at all. Whatever it was just passed by. So I did get to the hospital, got in the waiting room, waited there with my wife about maybe 30 minutes before I got called. Nurse checked me out, asked some questions. What are you seeing? By then, the whole event was over. I no longer had any kind of visual effect. That was the whole event, just something I could see in my left eye, maybe my left or maybe both. But you know, like most people, I've watched the TV ads about symptoms for a stroke and how you can't spend time thinking about it. You got to take action if you think you're having such a thing happen. And unfortunately, my mother, late in life, had a serious stroke, and many people do. So I'm a little young for that right now, but just the same, I didn't want to fool around. So that's the whole story. Went to the hospital, nothing wrong, came home, here I am. That's it. So I apologize for starting a story that could be a little scary and then not finishing it. Now, what are we going to do here today with this radio? So a couple of things. One is, maybe I will try and set it up so it will automatically tune to 1 or 2 of the stronger local stations. One is a sports station, so you'd have a sports button. Another one is a news station, you'd have a news button. I can make an attempt at that. That'll force discovery of how those contacts are moved around and some other stuff like that. So that might be interesting. And the next thing is plugging in the magic eye again and making sure that it does work. Very preliminarily at the start of this, I saw the magic eye appeared to be working. Here it is here. And that's a little unusual. Usually the magic eyes are worn out in these old radios, but that's not the case here. And then the last thing is to examine the button structure on the cabinet behind me here. All these buttons, which you can see, they just, like, what is going on there? So we want to find out what goes on with those buttons and understand them before attempting to put the chassis back in. There's got to be an issue with how far forward the chassis goes. But there's, it screws in with screws that fix it in a certain place. But when the radio first came here, I pushed some of those buttons and they were just floppy like you see them there. So maybe the radio wasn't in place 100%. That's a little hard to believe. The knobs are sticking out the front and everything. I don't know. So anyway, that's what we're going to investigate. So maybe first thing we'll try is the tuning thing again. And we will see. Now, could somebody go a lot further in fixing up this radio? Of course. Of course. I mean, you can go for a whole year on this radio if you really wanted to. That's not what I'm up to. I see myself as a guy who repairs radios and makes them safe to operate and work fairly well. But in terms of restoring them, I stay away from that kind of stuff. So I don't want to do anything too. I mean, this is not my radio, right? So everything I do to it comes with a risk that I'm going to stick my elbow through the speaker or something crazy like that. And so to some degree, the less done the better in a radio like this. And I did ask my assistant to come and join me today. I see he's finally arrived. There he is, trying to pick out a tool to use or something. I don't know. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. So first one is the tuning thing. Let's turn the radio around here. In fact, I'm going to stop for a minute and we'll get this set up so we can examine the tuning thing carefully. Okay, so colored wires are the key to knowing which one of these is which button on the front. And the colors look fairly good here, so that might actually work. How you move these. So I couldn't find any instructions in the manual. Maybe I just didn't see them about exactly how to do this. When I look at this, what I see is a spring here pushing outwards. A fixed piece here that's not going to move. The spring is pushing in on this piece. I can even see that this this brownish piece here is actually dished into the curve, into the gap here. So you can see this one here too is the same way. So quite a bit of pressure pushing here on this, and because it's pushing against here and there's a shaft going through to the other side, it's actually doing this. It's actually the spring is actually causing a squeeze between these two washers here, if you like, on either side of the plate. It makes perfect sense. Now, to overcome this, what I would think is offhand is you push this in. You push it in like this, and then that would stop the clamping from happening, and then you'd have to move it. The problem with pushing it in is you're pushing the pin up against this plate, and I'm pretty sure you should not be doing that. So maybe they can just slide just the way they are. There's just enough spring force to hold them in place, and you can slide them. I also see there's a little, you can see the insulating dip here, or spot. There's a small notch, if you like, in the plate. It's easy to spot. Plus behind it is a piece that is supporting the two plates. You can see that quite easy. So I'm just teaching myself how to spot the split, because it's hard to see in amongst all this stuff. If we tune the radio into the range of the stations I'm considering, it's kind of neat with the motor hooked up, you know. It's somewhere up in this area here. You can see the split is over here now. We can see this adjustment and this one. So this one must be right near the very start, like 530 or something like that. That could be a Buffalo station. And then this one, well, the stations are listed on the buttons. So I guess in a way, this is representative of the dial, of the front dial. And you just, the different stations are just located along it. You could actually mark this. You could tune the radio, mark it. Here's so-and-so, here's so-and-so, here's so-and-so. And then you could spend time moving these into the proper range, or getting them close. And in the final end, you could do minor adjustments if you really cared to do that. That's a pretty easy way of doing this, actually. Better than what they instruct. The instructions take you one at a time through here. So to know where you're tuned, I'm either using this. No, I actually have to tune in the station and hear it and know for sure I'm on the right frequency. Everything else, even putting the radio into the cabinet and looking at the dial probably will not match exactly. So that's not a big deal. That's an easy thing. Tune in a couple of stations, put a couple marks on here. Now, which of these would we move? Why have they got them in two slots? So if they're in one slot, this can't pass that. In fact, these things are trapped in here permanently. There's no way to take this off and put it over here. So you got these four, and then you've got these four. And I guess the thinking was, it's all pretty clever, really. If you put two slots, it would open up a lot of flexibility in how you operate this. I think that's what that is. That maybe somebody thought we should put a slot for each channel, for each one. Who knows? This system has allowed them to create a lot of buttons on the front. In fact, you could put more buttons on the front and just put more of these things in the back. It's kind of unlimited. It's kind of neat. And I think this appears in many models at this time from this manufacturer. This was not a one-off. This is the only radio that has this tuning system. No, they used it extensively. So, okay. So it sounds to me like it. Tune in the station. Note where the separation is. Mark it. Tune in the next station. Note the separation. Then move these. Let's try moving one of them. Move this one. This one's far too low anyway. Let's move it. See what happens here. Yeah, right. I don't think that's going to move at all. Yeah, trying to twist it a bit. Wow, it's really stuck in there. Maybe it's not a good idea. I thought I moved one of these a little bit. This one I'm moving. But wow, you want to move it a long distance? Ooh, yikes. Some kind of tool. If you could compress the spring, it would take the tension, depending upon how you did it, would take the tension off this. If I had a tool that went in and kind of grabbed this piece down here, like this, do I have anything at all that would do anything like that? Really? This is probably not the best thing, but it does have the motion I'm after. No, I don't think I have any tool like that. Why would they make this and then have it be very, very, very difficult to adjust this? They wouldn't do that. Okay, I have to go turn on my pot of coffee and stuff like that, so I can give this a little bit of time here because it's not quite adding up. I think it should be a lot easier to move these around. Now maybe it's because it's old. I don't think so. Maybe it's because I'm old. Yeah, maybe that's the problem here. It's just a beautiful, beautiful day outside. I really should be outside and not in here. So I'm going to kind of cut this a little bit short, I think. We're going to try out the magic eye. And we'll examine the button situation in the cabinet. And that may be it. So there's two fat pins on here, and I'm just trying to get them into the fat socket. There we go. No, doesn't feel right. Oh, it's not right. I'm wrong. There we go. Okay, I'm going to snap this in. Ouch. Okay, magic eye, do your work. So we're going to need the we're going to need to be able to tune the radio and watch the eye and listen to it. So I'm going to stop again and get all that figured out. Okay, I think we're ready. The speaker's plugged in, power's in, switch is on, volume is down, about halfway now. Band A, here we go. This is kind of weird, eh? That's coming from this. Is it the light bulb socket? I think so. I think it's this. Oh, full volume, full voltage rather. Well, we don't want this flashing later. Okay, tuning mechanism test. Very good. Okay, releasing the button. Now, we would want to tune in. Never felt a radio tune like that. So this, I think, is Buffalo. No, it's not. No. This might be Buffalo. This is the one after. This is 590.
Is it a perfect team? No. Is it really?
Did the eye do anything?
Yeah, but and does he stay healthy?
Very weak.
Yeah, of course.
Let's take a closer look at the eye here
But
with a
I
different
don't
camera.
It's actually some kind of a massive overpay, considering what I.
There, I just turned the volume down. Oh, I thought I saw this work. Well, it is on. It's just very, very faint. You can see the pi in the bottom corner there. Let me just turn the bulb if I can. Pi should be right at the bottom or at the top, usually at the bottom. But like that. Okay, now eye operation. This is a very strong station. You expect the eye to be closed. Let me tune. So the eye is functioning, but if you wanted to demonstrate this, could you? I mean, let's take a look here. So it's very bright in here. You wouldn't even know there's anything lit in here, and these bulbs are very bright too. Let me shut off my shop lighting here. It's just beaming from those lights. But you can see the green here. Now, in the camera. I'm trying with my own eyes here. I think it's visible. I think you'd have to darken the room like it is in here now, and it would be visible. Geez, these lights are really bright. Yeah. Hand me some light here. So a new eye, you can buy a new eye tube, but they're expensive now because they're quite rare. I have a few that I have on reserve. I have a couple that are about the same as this. I have a couple that are brand new, virtually brand new, that I'm hanging on to. I have equipment with magic eyes in it that I want to preserve. Okay. The next thing was to look at the buttons in the cabinet here. I bought the light that just came on. I bought that in the hardware store about a year ago. I was quite excited about it. I thought, wow, this would be much better in my shop. And it's just a bar light up here. It's just that light. And you can control the brightness. I thought, well, that's really great. But you know what you can't do? You cannot turn it off. You cannot turn the light off. Watch. This is the dumbest thing for shops. So I'm going to turn it off. Let me turn it off. There it goes. It's off. Okay, now the light is off. That's great, but as long as I stay in here, it comes back on automatically. And guess what I just found? I found the American penny. Okay, put that back up here. That might be worth something someday. Right, cabinet. Jim, get focused here. I'm trying to get done and get out. Let's uncover this. These are discouragements from my cats jumping up on top here. It sort of works. Okay. On over here and have a look at that. So the first thing you can say about this cabinet is, holy smokes, is it big. This is the widest radio I've ever seen. It has a curved glass front. And I have another one of these somewhere. I couldn't find it. I tried to find it. I could not find it. But I have this exact glass. So if I smash this, I won't. So we're interested in the buttons down here. Let me stop for a minute. I'm going to relocate my camera so we can get a little better look at it.
Visit TorontoLincolnDealers.com or contact your local Toronto Lincoln.
Buy a car, please. Buy a car. Somebody, anybody, buy a car. So here we have the buttons. So they're interesting in that they have stuff written on them, which is way too dark. I'm going to turn on an inappropriate light here. It causes a buzz, so you might be hearing a buzz in the speaker now. So this one says dial of remote. Dial of remote. So the remote control must have had a dial. A dial. Maybe the dial snapped through different selections. That kind of makes sense. So if you hit this button, the remote will be plugged in the back, becomes active, the armchair remote. And then you can operate this radio from a distance. This is WGR, CKCL, CFGB, never heard of that, WBEN, this one's missing, CKTB, WKBW, and dial tuning. So it's a combination of stations here in Southern Ontario, Canadian stations in Southern Ontario, and Buffalo radio stations. That's what it is. Okay, so first button, what did the first button do? The last button sets the radio to be tuned by dial. It says dial tuning. This button was the phono. I think it's the phono input. Phono, remote, stations. Dial tuning, dial tuning. Okay, now what is going on here? And why do they look so horrifying? This looks like a sticky glue or something of that sort. Really in bad shape. Well, I'm not going to do much about this, but the owner could do some very simple things here. One is get a little sandpaper, try to flatten these out, the roughness out a little bit. Get some brown paint, just paint this brown, make it disappear, and leave the original, I would say leave the original dial settings. Now, I looked at the radio. Right now we're listening to the strongest station that I can pick up here, 590, and one of the selectors appears to be aimed right on 590. We'll have to take a closer look. So it may already be one of these buttons that makes 590 work. Now, they're just swinging free, eh? Why do they all go together? Why wouldn't you just push one button and just one button would move? Can you answer that question, my cat? Okay, we're gonna look around the back here. Well, I can imagine what these buttons are like, but I'm gonna have to get the close-up camera here to do this. Let me switch. And the wire's long enough, I think it is. Got enough light. So each button has a protrusion. It's just my cat. Oh, he's found one of his. So this is the ultimate in spring in toys for cats. They love these things. I'm going to throw this down the hall. There goes my cat after it. They love those things, and what's great about them is you can step on them and they just go flat. So each one of these has a little protrusion. And I would guess the way it's shaped, you push it up, it might hold against that button, hold against the metal buttons I've been pushing. So the button you push in stays up. I don't think it's supposed to work that way. I think you're supposed to push these in, it locks the actual switch, and then the button falls away so all the buttons look out again. And why are they all moving when I push one? Well, let me see what I can do here. They're on a common shaft, and they're stuck to the shaft, and the shaft is turning. There's the shaft locked. Need a little more light, I think. Need some more light. Let's try this. Okay. Oh. Okay. I'm looking right at the end of the shaft here. special. I think it's just rusty, and the rust has kind of gripped these buttons. So what happens if you try this? Let me see if I can get my camera to sit on it toward me here. Okay. Well, they'll swing independently on the shaft, but they're stuck enough that they'll just stay in position on the shaft. That's what's giving these buttons this very crappy sort of operation. They should all be probably hanging like this, or pushed back by the spring, and push one. It's just pulling a whole bunch with it. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. I'm not looking through the camera now. Well, cat on the run here. What happened? Are we still in business? Hello, testing. Yes, seem to be. Well, you can see what's happened now. Okay, so my goal today was to make observations, so I had things to think about, and I could make plans for what to do about these things I've observed. So we got the buttons that don't swing freely. The radio itself is pretty good. You know, the last thing we're going to try on the radio, because I noticed that one of the tuning points is right at this station, or very, very near to this station. So, yes, Bert. Bert was giving me a look there. Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to switch cameras again. Tune to 590. What we want to do is spot the split over here. There's the split, and look, there's a thing right on it. Right on it. Now, which one is that? So, this means there's a button already set to this station. It's the black wire. How do we figure this out? Can you, we turn the motor off and keep pushing buttons until one of them does not light the light. That would be the button. Okay, so how do we do that? So first we turn off the motor mechanism by depressing this button here. Now the light should be in place of the motor. The light is on, it's saying the motor's being driven, but the motor wasn't being driven. Well, that's just great. We'll tune a little bit here. It's not happening at all. Wrong button, wrong button. Okay, D button. D button. D button, D button, D button. Did I push the diamond? Was I seeing things? No, maybe I wasn't seeing. I was seeing, maybe I wasn't. Am I saying anything? I thought this was 2 buttons, but it's only one. This wasn't pushed. Light never goes out. Because I haven't crossed. Because I got no buttons pushed. I have to push one of these buttons, and then we figure out which one it is. So there is a chart. There is a chart of wire colors somewhere. Okay, I'm just going to take a look on my own here very quickly. Can I find the chart? The chart of wire colors. I found it right here, right here, right here. It gives the buttons in order of number. Color of station setting contact. 1 to 8. How many buttons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we know this one's special, this one's special, this one's special. So button number 8. Oh, I don't know. It says there should be 8. There are 8 of these pins. I've seen 8 of the pins. How did I count this then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'm not going to sweat over it. The particular one that is in position appears to be black. Well, black. Is there a black one? There is a black one, number one. Number one button is the black one. Well, that would be either this button or this button. So what I read about that button, read it again. It says, well, that's the remote. That's the remote. Don't understand how they get eight station settings with only 7 functioning buttons. Button number one would be this one. Well, that is tuned to, let's try button number 2. This is another way to do this. Nope. We're right past. Maybe, you know what, the first 4 could be the first 4 in a slot, and then the next 4 could be the next 4. Let's just keep pushing buttons here for fun. That's really pretty cool. Maybe this will land on another station. Uh-oh. What happened there? Yeah, a button without contact. That's going way off the wrong way. It's a little scary there as it picks up speed. Well, yeah, it's the only one left. So what happened? That's why did I ever push this one? That was number 1, wasn't it? That's it. Then you give. Now you can't tune the radio because the motor will engage, won't it? Oh yeah. Oh, don't do that. Don't tune. So you'd want to release this by pushing the dial tuning button. That's what this is. This is the dial tuning button. I'm all confused here. Yes. Yes. So normal operation, this is pushed. This light is not doing anything. Now you can tune. And if you want to go back to 590, was it this one? No, it's not that one. Was it? Yeah, it was that one. Ooh, that's fantastic. Don't tune. When it's there, stop the mechanism right away. So push the button, let it tune. Push a couple more, let it tune. Really exciting. When you're done, push this button in, always. The muting system works fantastic. It's great. Okay, so I'm not sure what to do about the buttons in the cabinet. Is this got enough spring back on it? I push in one button. Will it want to drive in more buttons and push more of these things down? I don't think there's that kind of grip, you know, in the rusty rod. So it could be we could put this in and get it arranged right, and the buttons will do the right thing. Fantastic. Okay, now's a good time to stop because I just said fantastic. Would be good. I'm gonna go outside and enjoy it. Beautiful. It's a beautiful day outside. Sunny, not too hot. Great. So thanks a lot for watching. Tomorrow we'll try to finish this right off, get it back in the cabinet, get the whole thing going, and say farewell to this really cool radio. Thanks a lot for watching. See ya.